Welcome to another video, guys. Today I will give you a weapon rogue, easy legend guide and gameplay from my last coaching sessions. I'll go over the deck, give you its win rates, do a mulligan guide for it, and give you some tips and tricks so you can pilot it better. I don't just rip my Twitch videos and call them content, but actually do guides about the decks I show you, so if you enjoy that, a like and a subscribe would really be appreciated. Now, let's get into the video. Weapon Rogue is a really strong deck right now, and you should have no problem climbing with it if you know what you're doing with it. What you're seeing in the background is how we went 6-0 with a dude who decided to hire me for some rogue coaching, so the deck can definitely take you there. I will show you 4 other games with other dudes that decided to hire me for some coaching with commentary, so this sped up footage is just for background, but you can see the full coaching sessions over at my Twitch channel on the video sections. This deck relies on its good free drop weapons, which can do crazy amounts of damage and offer great synergies too. The main reason why this deck is so good and the rogue class is so good as a whole right now is Secret Passage, which will probably get nerfed soon. It's giving the deck insane amounts of steam, versatility and reach, and used at the right time, it can single-handedly close out seemingly impossible games. Like I said in my top 5 video from last week, this deck opts for more consistency and reach and decides to cut Steel Dancers and Jandis. But if you decide that you want to run that list instead, you can cut out Sinister Strike and Wand Thieves or Worgens, depending on what you feel is better for you. Personally, I feel like the Worgens offer you a lot more consistency in your early game and with your sages, and it gives you a more reliable Secret Passage too, cause chucking in 2 4-drops and a 5-drop in there will make it probably impossible to play your entire hand from Passage when you need it. Wand Thieves also feel pretty amazing in this deck, and it can offer you some really good answers, like Devolving Missiles, AoEs, or some good old reach, so you can close out the game faster. So for me, these are definitely the better choice instead of the clunky 4-drops that might even remain dead in your hand if you don't find your weapons in time, which would happen more often than you think. Here's what the matchups look like for the Steel Dancer version, since this list isn't populated enough to show you enough data. Druids are shown as problematic, even though in reality we haven't had that much problems against them as long as the mulligan wasn't complete trash. Base Hunter also seemed like a fine matchup, and honestly it never feels like you're in a bad matchup with this deck. It's definitely handicapped when you're going second against a faster deck, but then again, any deck is. For the mulligan, you have to be smart about what you keep and when. The cards you absolutely always keep one copy of would be Self-Sharpening Sword and Sage. Those two are just too important to drop, and even though they're free drops, you should keep them even if you have nothing else in hand. Aside from that, you always want to have a good 1 and 2 drop stealth minions. And keeping 2 1-drop stealth minions is also not a bad idea. Make sure to never get baited into keeping cards like Doctor or Cutting Class, and don't keep Wand Thief if you don't have a good enough way to combo it early. If you're on the coin, you can actually keep Scimitar and Dread Corsair for an amazing turn 2 play, but if you're not going second, Scimitar is always a dump. Vulpera would be an interesting keep for you if you know that you will need to be trading early on, so you could keep her if you plan on daggering on turn 2, since she's basically a fiery war axe on a stick. Never keep Sap, Evis and Sinister Strike. They are finishers, so don't get baited into keeping them just in case. Secret Passage should almost always never be a keep for you as well, unless you're going second and you already have a perfect mulligan curving into it. Now let's talk about some tips and tricks with the deck. Self-Sharpening Sword is your bread and butter for this deck. It offers you tons of synergies, and you should be thinking about those synergies before you start throwing cards. Don't forget that after you swing, your weapon gets 1 extra attack, so you can discount even further your Corsairs and Cutting Classes after you swung. Also think about how you want to be playing Secret Passage with this card. If you use Secret Passage on turn 6 for instance with this weapon, you can get a Dr. Crostin off, but make sure you also have something to attack on your opponent's board before going for that line of play. You should also consider if it's okay for you to coin out this weapon on turn 2 and start swinging too. If you do it like that, that means your last durability is going off on turn 5 if you swing each turn. And if you haven't top decked Dr. Krasinov by then, that means it's game over for that weapon. If you, however, decide to equip the weapon on turn 3 and start swinging from there, that means that your last durability is gonna be on turn 6, and you will have the opportunity to do the Secret Passage play into Krasinov, which might be the difference between winning and losing a match. Another tip here is how you use your stealth minions. If you have a stealth minion on turn 1 and you don't have a stealth minion for your next turn, it would be a good idea to keep it stealth so you can play your Sage on turn 3 if you already have it in hand. Don't keep attackers stealth if you don't have the Sage already, just for the chance of top decking it next turn though. You might also not want to attack with a stealth minion if you want to save an opportunity to trade better with your opponent's board. You are an aggro deck, but it might be a better idea for you to secure the board first so you can stick more damage later in the long run. So figure out if it's worth it for you to play for the board, or just let the opponent do the trades for you and just go face. Another cool trick with the stealth minions here would be to make sure that you have a stealth minion on board before you play Secret Passage on turn 4, so you can potentially find a Sage like that and draw extra cards with it. It's not ideal to play Secret Passage like that, but if your hand is trash and you really need the steam, then it's not a bad idea to do it like that, to try to find it and take the game from there. A cool positioning trick with this deck would be to try to always have a stealth minion in the middle of the board. This way you will save yourself from all sorts of cleave and betrayal effects, and the game has plenty of those right now. Warrior has the new Spell Burst weapon, Druids have Thrashers, Mages have Combustion, and every Highlander deck has Zephrys with Explosive Shot and Betrayal in it. So when you can, play your stealth minion in the middle, and that way you will be playing around all of those. Another tip for the Secret Passage would be to try to play it when you have a big weapon in hand. That way you can get your 0 mana Dread Corsairs and Cutting classes and cycle even further. And you can also consider not attacking on turn 5 with a 4/1 Scimitar for instance, and try to get Dr. Krasinov on turn 6. You can also use Passage when you're missing 7 damage for lethal for instance. Or maybe you're looking for your sap. Consider all of your options and keep an open mind so you can make most out of this busted card. Secret Passage is a really unique card because it doesn't actually shuffle your hand back into your deck, and the 5 cards you get, you don't actually draw them, so you don't even trigger bombs that way. Don't get baited into thinking that you can discount your original cards by using Encanter's Flow for instance, because those cards are not actually in your deck, so the effect won't take place for those cards. Also, another cool trick here is when you have Evocation. If you play Evocation and then play Secret Passage, you will actually get to keep all of the mage spells after you get your original cards back. Also, when you draw and discover cards after you've played Secret Passage, you get to keep those cards along with your original hand. So usually that would be your best bet with this card. And lastly, when you just can't find your weapon, don't be afraid to try and build a big hero power weapon instead, if you have Doctor and or Deadly Poison for instance. It's still worth it to get the discount synergies, so don't wait too long for your real weapons and just use what you got, and that might be better for you in some cases. That's gonna be it for the guide part. Now let's see a few games with a few people that decided to hire me for a coach to Legend. If you want to reach Easy Legend as well, you can also hire me for a coach by just contacting me on my social medias, and you can be sure we will make it happen. I will help 2 more people hit Legend tonight with this deck, so drop by the stream as well. The games I'll show you now will be against the Libram Paladin, which could be a tricky matchup, versus a Face Hunter, which many people think is unfavored, and I will also show you a really cool game versus a Dual Paladin, which you will probably never meet, but it just shows that you should never be surrendering. And also some clutch plays against the Highlander Shaman too. Enjoy! Asking the real questions, aren't you? The thing here is, you really want to be trading all of the early game shit he has to offer. Would Vulpera help us in any way? Technically, we could trade something that he gives Hand of a Doll on. So far, it seems like turn 2 we're getting a dagger. So Vulpera could make a fine inclusion to this hand. Okay, 1 and 3.
Yep. Oh, nice.
That works against the Paladin, but we gotta be patient with it to get real value. Not too patient though, because fuck him up early, you won't need it for the later. Because he will be dead.
I cannot wait to read this.
Alright. Good. Have a full keep hand.
Yeah.
That's pretty nutty.
So I'm guessing he's definitely got a buff then. So
Probably,
do we double
yeah.
trade?
Feels like a trade, man. Feels like a trade. He doesn't do much next turn. We get to throw the Worgen and Hero Power. Usually it's enough, Justin. In a matchup like this, definitely would have been happier with a second one, but I'm not sure I can afford to really fit it in. Okay. What do you think is better here? What is your mentality towards this situation?
I was hoping that if we backstab that, then play the Volpera, then hit him for 3.
That's borderline mediocre, bud. What you want to be doing is remain flexible against this man, so this backstab is definitely gonna help you trade a possible goody 2 shields next turn and stuff like that. Zealot is gonna be a very good target with the backstab, so right now you just want to hero power, redagger, and throw a Worgen, and that way we are gonna be pretty flexible. How's it going, Dante? Yeah, trade it, hero power, Worgen, pass. That's what I'm assuming is gonna be the winning play, hopefully. Just because chipping him into face area, sure, could be good, but with him with a perfect mulligan like that, I don't know, man, doesn't seem too hot. Wow, really, bud? What the fuck did you even keep? Like, what's wrong with you? Fucking hell, man. I think Volpera into Dread Corsair is good enough. Both on whatever, it doesn't matter in this case. Play it on the right. Well,
sorry, dude.
You still traded in Go Face. No Sage in hand, so yeah, we don't have a Sage. No, what? No.
Oh shit,
dude, why are you rushing? Anyway, chip him in the face.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, it could be considered a counterplay to a possible consecration, but I would definitely be happy if he throws a consecration like that. Definitely don't rush into the plays, dude. We are preferring to keep our minions, you know. Okay, please get a Pharaoh's Blessing or some shit like that. Do it. Blessing of Authority. Wait, what? Is this gonna be the sap play? I mean, he did throw a Librum of Wisdom on it, so that ain't too bad. Yeah, I think we can try to tempo out right now, because we're gonna tempo out like a freaking horse. Sap the 4.
Okay.
Actually, is it? It's not. It is not. Backstab it, the 4/7. Equip the Scimitar, play the cutting class. After Scimitar cutting class. Trade the 4/5 with your face. And go face and do we keep the Sinister Strike? We might need it for a combo activator for a Wand Thief, because this hand is not comboing for us.
Yeah.
I think you save it. That's all.
Okay.
So far, he's discounted his Holy Nova down to 6 now.
Do we see what the passage does? Or do we just sap that and throw everything at his head?
Maybe Secret Passage wouldn't be too bad, just because we might get crossing off, and this is gonna be a 7-2. Yeah, let's see the Secret Passage. Oh, nice. You got another cutting class. You got the cutting class, the crossing off. Perfect.
Are you saying this before me or something? How does this work?
I'll tell you later. Play cutting class. Cutting class.
Yep.
Dread Corsair.
On the
Mana Corsair. Somewhere.
Yeah.
Play crossing off. Crossing off and the taunt. Trade the 5/7.
And we hit him.
Smack him in the mouth area. And yeah, the way I'm seeing it before you is throw Hearthstone Deck Tracker. As soon as you play a card that draws you, Hearthstone Deck Tracker flashes for me, and I know exactly what cards got in your hand before we even see it. You virtually save quite a few seconds because Hearthstone animations are super retarded. But yeah, good game. Good game. And there's that sap you wanted to see. See? One sap is enough. You just gotta be smart with it.
One sap is definitely enough.
One sap is enough. How many saps do they take to change a paladin's light bulb? One. New video on... Since now we're Friday, technically I'm obligated to Twitch not to use my content from Twitch in the next 24 hours, so technically I should be uploading it on Sunday. Played some Face Hunter, played some Small Spell Mage, but usually it's Libram Paladin. Okay, what do you think is the best keep here?
The self-sharpening sword.
That's what I would say.
The rest of them can go away.
Yeah, it's a paid service, Tommy, but from time to time I do give giveaways. And actually, last night's person who I coached the Legend was so happy with the service, he actually gifted another paid coaching session to somebody from the chat. So as soon as I find a slot to fit you guys in, we are gonna have a 3-hour coaching session with one lucky winner. But I can't really promise it's gonna be this month. It might be next month. So there's that. Gonna have 3 hours to heaven with Kris 05. Cringe.
Ugh. What do we do here?
What do
I'm
we do
thinking
here?
We can take out one of the 1/1s.
Yeah, I think hero powering one of the 1/1s is the better choice, because next turn Volpera into the 3/2 if we don't get a backstab would be the better choice, so there's that. You can contact me on social medias like Discord or Facebook, and we can set up the payment, when you want to play it, what you want to play, and all of that, you know. And thank God we did the setup, dude. That would have been big. But yeah, Volpera. Sadly, we won't benefit from the cutting class, but... How's it going, Zadie?
Yeah.
Kill the 2-3.
Very
Show? Like, no questions asked. That's literally the most important minion after Dragonbane. That's an MVP right there. What? Wow. This person right now. So, self-sharpening sword into... Wait a second. Yeah, we have to deadly poison if we want to get cutting classes for free, so let's find those backstabs, man. Let's do that thing. Yeah, you did it yourself, man. There's the first one. Not the second one, but good enough. So yeah, kill the 3/2 with the backstab.
They're both beasts, yeah.
Yeah, they are, but I think Volpera trades the 2/2. And you face the face. Next turn we have Stealth and Sage, so that's nice. Yikes, Zadie. Sorry to hear, man. Be like that sometime.
If power is what you seek, knowledge is what
On the actual fuck.
Really?
That's new.
Okay.
Anyway, it's still Spy Mistress and Sage.
Home in the shadows. A cruel fate awaits you in the ashes.
Yeah, Proto Dread Corsair on the most right. And the stealth minion in between the taunt and the stealth.
Right, middle.
And go face. That's a new deck. Haven't seen this shit before.
Yeah. What does he get for 5?
Doesn't have to be something for 5, but just gonna get his big cards now. Don't have to necessarily be big. Okay, finally started trading stuff. That's new. So first, you want to try to trade the 4/2 with the 2/1. You did it.
Yeah.
Second 3/1 attacks face. Nice. Play the passage. Sorry for not letting you think on these ones, but yeah, we have
you're
plenty of things to do. Well, we kind of fucked up but not really, because we can't really afford not to do it like the way we did it. This is actually awesome. Let's see what the one thief has, but we're definitely gonna be playing the other two here.
Okay, so one thing.
These are kind of lame.
Yeah.
We don't want to polymorph something into a beast, so maybe it's the one
Or-
mana.
Oh yeah, because my hand isn't in my deck at the moment, eh? So we can't.
One mana, one mana.
Not prepared.
Play the Spine
I'm
Mistress, play the
blind.
Sage.
A cruel fate awaits you in the
Go
ashes.
face. So what did you say about the...
I was just thinking, if we took the Encounters Flow, would that discount the cards that were in my hand?
I mean, no, they're in your hand now.
Yeah.
And
'Cause-
these are... The other ones are not in your deck. They're in a
Oh,
secret passage, basically. So that's how you
okay.
don't top deck the same cards from secret passage. That's the beauty of it. That's why it's so fucking strong. You always
that
get
makes
5
sense.
different cards. Fucking got him, bud. Double Avis with the Sinister Strike. That is enough. So Sinister Strike, Avis. G's to the G's. Welcome to the stream, Astro Hunter. Astro Hunter. What's a hunter? Fucking got him. Astounding. That fucking Polkit was so weird.
Yeah. Look,
Well,
I don't get it.
this late in the month, you're gonna see a lot of cereal box decks. Like, people like to have fun.
2 wins away, baby.
Let's go.
So here, the Greyard Sage and not your versus Paladin.
Since we're going
so
first, this hooked Scimitar is rarely gonna be a keep unless we have an exact plan how to play it on turn 3, so it's definitely just one Sage here. Against the
keep one
Paladin,
Sage.
we for sure are gonna want to trade a lot. One Sage only.
Okay.
Against the Paladin, we will want to trade a lot, but this Scimitar
yeah.
is definitely not the way to do it.
You full Mulligan. You
Okay.
discard all.
Wow,
man.
thanks Blizz. Let's
Give.
get the Scimitar next. Do it. Fucking bitches.
No.
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 Okay. Hero power and save it. It's actually gonna matter with this Volpera. I mean, even without the Volpera, we will want to be trading his hero power. I think we kill one and Avis the other.
Okay, so okay.
As long as you kill it with the face first, doesn't matter which one.
So trade and this.
Trade and after that Avis, yeah. That is all. Let's hope he doesn't have a goody 2 shields. Wow, awesome.
Yeah. That's not a good turn for him. So
Save the
backstab.
backstab though.
Nice.
Think a little.
Yep.
He has Zealot next turn. If he had Zealot, he would have played it last turn, I think. What a point. I think
yeah,
you
we
can drop the Volpera here.
I wonder.
Volpera and trade. Don't end turn, I really need to piss. We're back.
Okay.
Kill
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Crip, you used to be cool, man. Now it seems he seems strange. Oh, wow. You running Avenger Wrath now. Wow. Okay. That is
Did he just
He-
tempo her?
he
What?
just Adora and he runs Avenging Wrath. So yep.
What
He
the fuck?
Adora Queen and he get
Wow,
what?
okay.
He's running Avenging Wrath, man.
That's
So-
fucked up. And this hand
Yeah,
is
that's
the most fucked up thing I've seen today. Are we
Oh.
just gonna play a fucking cutting class here? For fuck's sake, man. Yeah, play the cutting class. Do it.
So many options.
Yep. Well,
This
the
is
low
just
backstab.
bullshit, man. This is just bullshit.
man.
Like, check this fucking hand, man. Like, what is wrong with Hearthstone right now? Got every
Double
single
backstab.
2-off card, for fuck's sake. Yeah, that's a pass. Fucking bullshit, man.
Yeah, double Sage, double Corsair, double Backstab. Nice.
Yeah?
I think I'm going to take a screenshot and send it to
Yeah.
Blizzard. So
Wow, we're
Oh,
gonna lose
man,
to a
he's-
dual paladin. You've seen it here first.
well, man, it's first time I
Ah, bullshit.
play
bullshit,
against one of
bullshit.
those. Man.
Backstab the 3-6 and do a secret passage. But this is so dumb, I can't stress this enough. Like, the cards we want to top deck here are Sages and Dread Corsairs after we bump the weapons, but now we don't have those. We have this shit. Do we care too much for that, Allura? I mean, it's a lot of damage. Not that much, I guess. We really need the stealth, man. And we really need the weapon.
So it's
Played a
instead-
1-drop and self-sharpening sword to the face, but we're losing.
Yeah.
In the shadows.
So
With a hand like this, you
self-shot.
cannot do shit. Face. Show him who's boss.
Yep.
That is just fucked up bullshit right now. Losing to the world's slowest deck. You've seen it here first.
Yeah, but it's going to be. I'm confident that's going to be. The other games will be in your favor. So
Probably.
it's just my mulligan. It's not very good at the moment, and I am drawing poorly, so but it's
Yeah.
okay, man.
This guy's having a game of his life. Those are rare.
Yeah. Okay, I think I can just concede at this point.
Well, let's just do one more turn.
yeah, it's okay. Sure.
Play the Sage.
A cruel fate awaits you in the ashes.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see the Wand Thief.
Vaporize.
Evocation, if that ever matters.
Evocation. You want me to take evoke?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And
Volpera.
I play
Faster, man.
Volpera, or
Just play her somewhere. Volpera.
Yep. taunt.
Both taunts on left and right.
On left and right.
Backstab the 3-3.
Stab the 3.
Your face goes into the 3-4, and 3-1 goes face.
3-1 face.
I mean, if we're alive, technically we have some outs.
Yeah, with the evoke
Yeah.
can get
If we freeze the
like-
board or some shit like that.
Yeah, Frost Nova can get the Ace Barrier, but don't think. Oh, wow.
We're still alive.
Okay. I think he's playing on Islander version. He's playing the Islander.
Not Highlander.
Probably not. Ah, no, okay, with the gift. Second gift of Luminance. Nice.
Wow, sap. That helps, but
Yeah,
let's think a little.
yeah, sure. 5, 8, 11, 14,
I think you dropped the Worgen on the board.
15. The Worgen, okay.
Yeah, play the Worgen in the middle.
Yep.
And now you have to play Evocation, because now we can get 6 mana Blizzard, which will be enough to hold our face for now.
So
Yeah,
I'm
play it.
playing the Evoke.
Got a Frost Nova. Frost Nova
The
drops.
box.
Frost Nova.
Yep, Frost Nova.
What else? What else? No, we're not dealing damage. We don't want them to die. Sage. Sage on the
Sage.
left.
A cruel fate awaits you in the ashes.
Everything goes face.
Yep.
And I think we fucking have a chance, man. As long as he doesn't have a weapon right now, we fucking have a chance, man.
Yeah, man. No weapon, please. No.
A
no
fucking
4-2
dual
weapon.
paladin, dude. But we had the literal worst mulligan ever. Alive.
Okay.
Alive. That's a sap.
Sap.
Fucking one, dude. Fucking
Nice,
win.
man. Wow.
Sap that shit. And crossing off the other shit. God damn it,
Wow.
man. The impossible wins pulled out of my fucking ass. Fucking killed it, dude.
So, Doctor.
Never give up, never surrender.
Nope. Yeah.
Fucking got him, dude. Damn,
Wow,
son.
Wow, man. Wow, it was sick.
Well,
man.
that is gonna be a featured game, even though it's against the literal impossible matchup to
Wow.
face. But yeah,
Nice. Yeah, it's a full queue for sure, man. It's pretty much it's the since we play the weapon row, I think it's the
Frodo Spy Mistress.
okay.
In case he coins out the 0 free totem. Not much of an arena player, Lubaka Power. Not much of an arena player, bruh. And can't really afford to talk in Bulgarian right now, so, you know. Yeah, throw the sneaky and go face.
Yeah, because the next turn is going to be for sure the sharp
Most probably.
sword. And we have a backstab too, so and we have another stealth mail on the board, so even if I draw Sage, I can play Sage and draw 2 cards. So.
You are not.
Okay, so definitely sword.
I'm blind.
1 minion trades the totem, cause fuck that.
Okay.
Yeah, minion trades, the rest goes face. No, don't backstab, save it. You need to be more flexible.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Face. Welcome to the stream, Mr. Mori. Follower number 348. 2 more to go. What are your friends waiting for? Why are they asking? Why are they not watching? Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, ooh, wow.
Dumpster Legend uses. That's what I like to see.
Nice.
Highlander Shaman. Okay. That's gonna be a backstab.
Yeah, but I think it was not sure about the first play, but
I don't know. I mean, really depends on his hand. He might just want to survive. It's not that bad to tempo out like that. Anyway, 3-2 trades. Play another 3-2. Hero power and backstab the other one.
So backstab with 3-2.
Trade. Yeah.
Trade with my minion to the other one.
And play the spectral and hero power pass. We are playing the one that costs 2 mana and it's more attack too, so. But even if we had the Spy Mistress, we always pick the one that's more expensive when we don't need the extra mana.
Yeah,
it's more versatile afterwards.
Okay.
Not bad.
It's not good.
So,
I have a stealth minion on the board.
Sadly, we're fresh out of fucks to give. It's bad, man.
Yep, so
play Volterra. Not sure you want to use it.
Okay. So can't play the Worgen with the Dread Corsair and...
No, we're not playing the Worgen either. We're gonna try to remain somewhat ready for a Greyheart Sage.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah.
So 3-1 goes face. Yeah, 3-1 goes face.
Okay.
Play the Dread Corsair on the right. And trade the 2-2 with your face. That's all. No need to cloud the deadly. Yeah, that's looking pretty bad, but nothing a secret passage can't change.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm going to remember this kind of play in the future. So
yeah,
it's like,
playing that Worgen would have been totally fucked up now, wouldn't it?
It's
there's
what
the
I want to
Sage,
say.
There's the reward. You earned it.
Nice.
Play that shit.
Because of the Lightning Storm, especially versus Shaman, we can have this kind of removal. So yeah, you don't want to commit your stealth minion and
Throw that shit. Let's see the cards.
fate awaits you in the ashes.
Okay.
Another Sage, another Poison. Trade the Totem and Redagger.
Okay. Sure.
It's looking pretty
Sensei.
bad, but it could have been worse. We kept a
Yep.
cool head and we made the most of it.
Never be afraid of your
Don't have a way to kill the 0. The stealth, I mean. Less loud. Nice. Okay.
Nice, yep.
So another Sage. If it gives us a cutting class, we get the double deadly. So a lot of open possibilities for us, and we got ourselves to thank for that. Because we could have been numbskulls and just threw everything we saw, but nah, we're better than that. We strive for perfection, most right?
A cruel fate awaits you in the ashes.
No. Oh, yeah.
Yes. Nope. Nope. Yes.
Or
Deadly. Deadly.
Double.
Mm-hmm.
So
Draw for
cutting
3.
for 0, it's always sexy.
And feel free to throw the Sneaky Delinquent
And
in the
Well,
middle.
Yep.
Do we care to
And-
trade with this? I'm not sure we do at this point. Everything face, let's go. We have quite a few reach in hand, like 7 damage from hand ain't no joke. Bunch of damage on the
Okay.
weapon.
Yep.
We have lethal right now, so let's see.
Nice.
Gaze upon him. He's looking pretty bad, but look what we did to this
Yeah,
boy.
we're putting him in the in a position that we have lethal next turn. So there,
Yeah,
it's
now
that,
he has
it's
to
that
heal,
this kind of
taunt.
play that I need to remember that I need to focus more when I play.
Yeah, I mean,
by myself.
sometimes it could be correct. Let's say against the Druid, let's assume he doesn't have the swipe, for instance. Not too many lists run it. But against the Shaman, against the Highlander Shaman, they always have AoE, man. They always have the AoE. So just hold on to some cards, like that 2-1 wouldn't have been a game changer for us. He was literally at full health. So that 2-1 didn't do shit for us at that point. Save it and try to get a Sage. There's the AoE and there's the GG. Easy slap.
Yes.
Easy slap, buddy.
Easy clap. Easy clap.
Oh,
and
thanks,
that
Blizz.
was great
You didn't
too.
need to. Fucking got him. Hey, remember how he emoted us? Yeah, thank you for that one. Draw card was key. Keeping cards was key, if you ask me. Keeping cards for drawing cards was key.
Yeah, keeping
Basically.
Mulligan, for sure.
So yeah, boys, that is how you get them. That is how you slap them. Pretty cool. So that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Hope you got a better idea how to play with and against this deck. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe if you're new. Thanks for watching. I'm Kris05 and I'll see you in my next video or stream.